Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Wargame Brendryen Ranked. It's been a while. This is unfortunately a replay, and I know that's going to annoy / disappoint some of you, but here's the reasoning. The last couple of days to a week and a half at this point, I have been sick and I haven't really had time to do my usual recordings as well as play games and, well, sleep in general. That means that I wasn't really capable of doing the usual ranked games, so I haven't played that much. And this one I recorded a few days ago. I was just, well, I didn't record it, that's the issue. I was just playing. I was just thinking, you know what, I'm going to do a ranked game, and here we go. It is a Scandi Moto deck. Link down below in the description, you can find the codes, and that's kindly provided by Blitzwar. I'm operating on Highway to Seoul. I have mostly a push going to Foxtrot and then Delta Echo. I want to focus on the area here. And meanwhile, keeping some forces down on the highway to try and get these forces early into Delta and provide either spotting capability or potentially killing later. Now, this napalm drop over here is quite annoying, as this Lynx is figuring out the hard way. It seems to go in for a very close look there. Not necessarily the right option. Over here, I had a Lynx with reconnaissance infantry and it gets destroyed by a helicopter anti-air weapon system. So that means Tigers, most likely. In the meanwhile, the other units are moving along as planned. XA-180s, XA-186NOs. These guys carrying the... these guys are carrying the Norlandjäger. These guys carrying the elite troops. Backed up by a couple of Laro 106s, and there is the Predator that just took down my recon unit, the Tiger. Of course, not really requiring the Stingers anymore, but the Hots very much so. So time to drop off the guys as quickly as possible. The Norlandjäger to survive, capable of getting dropped off, and not a moment too soon, because there is a whole column of this guy coming up. On the right, by the way, I have nothing. I am just not investing anything there whatsoever. Also over on the right I have one Lynx, and when it comes to base defenses I have the M41A1, a couple of NM45s, which are just the 15-point Orlikon Jeeps. No armor whatsoever, but a pretty decent defensive weapon system. Pretty decent gun. It can save you in a pinch. Also here, some of my remaining Laros that were initially coming with the opener. I got 2 mortars and a couple of Leopards. And based on what I am seeing so far, I'm under the impression that I am facing a motorized deck. Of course, I haven't really had time to encounter tanks yet, but so far nothing too stellar. Once again, the Mirage the Mirage 111 comes in. And as you might be able to tell, it's kind of guesstimating where the CV is. But by some miracle, it drops it around the CV, not actually hitting the CV itself. Since I'm dealing with a motorized deck, I want to have shooters from afar, so more Leopards are coming in to defend Echo, as well as reconnaissance units, which will be arriving a little later. Over here I got the Gewehrman offloaded, and over here I have a TGB that I still need to offload. These M41A1s, nice recon units, terrible autonomy, sadly, at a mere 200 kilometers, so don't expect them to go anywhere. But, well, for 10 points, you can usually not go wrong with them. Norlandjäger taking a bit of a barbecue early on, as once again a 111C comes in and barbecues the guys. Legionnaires over here need to go. I'm very much uninterested in taking fire, especially from their RX missiles. So fortunately the M41A1s doing damage before the Legionnaires are capable of retaliating. Norlandjäger a bit more crispy than before, and half of them are dead, sadly. Once again an aircraft comes in. We've already seen that he has these napalm bombers, he also has seed aircraft, and he also has a Peace Rhine going after one of my Leopards. I can see he's seemingly reinforcing / trying to rush my position here with a couple more of these VABs, and the Leopards have arrived just in the perfect time. So for now all is going quite well, although my units over here are a little light. Here comes a NASAMS. Turned off to prevent any kind of radar attraction, because that seed aircraft is going to be doing frequent runs. Volskamjäger dropped off, keeping an eye on the highway. you can never be too careful with this highway. Once again, the 111C comes in. And once again, it's going to try and do a napalm run. The NASAMS engages. These things fire fast. And immediately, the 111 goes down. Once again, it tries to drop on the CV. And at the moment, it gets quite close. But again, does not actually kill the CV. So far, so good. Now, since I have some presence in Delta, I'm going to also try and get some presence to Echo. Open up a wider front. If I've learned anything over the quite a few matches that I played as motorized, you don't want to be narrow. You want to be as wide as possible. So, ATGM infantry, recon infantry, AA, some tanks to provide fire support, and his units for some reason just keep rushing into them. But then I encounter something a little bit far behind my lines. We have a command unit coming in. And of course, that is not going to come in solo. That is a light anti-air unit. And fortunately, the NM45 is already engaging. It deals some damage against the CV, but then switches to the VAB VDAA, that's the anti-air unit. Can it fire on the move? No, it can't. Unfortunately, it's not just that. There is one of those Mistral reconnaissance jeeps. There's an NMX-10RC. I need reinforcements here urgent. So I spawn in a Fennec, which is the wrong response. The Fennec at the moment is easily killed by the combination of the Mistral Jeep as well as the VDAAs. I scramble the M41A1 to go back as quickly as possible. The other ones coming in from the other flank, the NM45s, and I try and get NorCalRoach over here. The NM45 engaging the AMX-10RC, but of course the AMX-10RC does not really struggle to kill that. And then I think, you know what? I'm going to just spawn in a quad stack of 41A1s. And it is just in the nick of time. Because the second there I lost the spawn. I did kill his CV with the 41A1. And the NorCalRoach are capable of dealing with the 10RCs as well as with the VDAA. The quad tank, or the quad stack of tanks, is pissing off every surviving unit. And so far, not too bad. Seemingly okay. Over here, in the meanwhile, he's been operating planes, but the Seed does not find the NASAMS. It did, however, find the anti-air unit, the anti-air gun. And I am able to take out a Seed unit, so hopefully that'll be the last of them. Now, they're pissing off the last of the survivors, and once again, scrambling more defensive units there. Over here, we got some more units, as of yet unidentified, but this definitely seems like another Tiger. The Tiger has spotted the Volkskamjäger. I just blindly keep rushing them in, and the Tiger immediately takes them out, as well he should. Another Mirage 111Z. Sorry, Mirage 3C, they're not 111s. They're 3, Mirage 3, they use the Roman numerals. I'm starting to reinforce the position here with a couple of Volkskamjäger, Stormer, ATGM. I would like a bit more anti-air over here, so there's another anti-air infantry coming in. At this point, though, still nothing in Golf and Charlie. I have absolutely nobody there. I'm not focused on it. As long as I can defend my spawn, and I can defend the area over here, I'm slowly but steadily going to encroach on Bravo. That is the plan. Chasseurs have taken up the building here, so I halt my planned offensive here, and I wait for further fire support. Now, this Brendryen was, I think, looking for something else, but it took out an XA-180. Sorry, a 186NO, so, well, basically same difference. Units coming in, XA-186NO with fire support, trying to go by the book here. And of course, at that point, just as another group of Volkskamjäger is trying to move into position, the Tiger pops up again and kills off another reconnaissance group. Now, over here, I got the Gewehrmen, I have the Laros. If these chasseurs show their face, then they will be shot off, said faces. So the Gewehrmen are going to move forward, probing the lines. There's the chasseur. Immediately, the Laro jump into action. The 186 is moving in to support with their Brownings, getting in another NM45, and once again, he sends in the Brendryen. And once again, the NASAMS make short work of it. This NASAMS, Maelstrom, is very important. He's going to do a lot of work for me. 111C comes in. He seems to rely an awful lot on aircraft. So I suspect that he's weak somewhere else. On the ground. The NASAMS fires and kills the Mirage 3C. Gewehrmen, however, are getting pretty crispy. I know it might be cold in Scandinavia, but this is the other opposite of the spectrum. And this is not really where they want to be. It is, however, also the place where the Chasseur used to be. And they're not having a particularly easy time of it either. I am quite nicely building a front line here. I'm pretty content with how things are going. I got the quad stack that I called in for base support over there, blocking off the highway in case somebody decides to make a move. Another group of Legionnaires over here, so the Gewehrmen are moving forward. This is another group of Gewehrmen, and I'm trying to use the Gewehrmen to spot, keeping the Leopards at range and allowing them to take shots at the Legionnaires while safely sitting outside of the range. The same cannot quite be said for the 186 NOs. They are in range and are getting wiped out by Legionnaires. Now at this point, more reinforcements coming in. STRV-103C, another anti-air gun, more infantry, as well as more reconnaissance units. Legionnaires holding the building with everything they have against the Gewehrmen. Gewehrmen are really not going to win that, sadly. I should have made sure that this building is clear. But you can see that, and this is much to my surprise, I'm able to capture the Mankati here. The Mankati, however, has been emptied. So something has been taking a lot of supplies off of this. I'm not sure what it is. Over here we have the Tiger going to town against a couple of my M8 recon vehicles. I just put something in this sector to keep something of an eye on them. But I was focused on what was happening here, so I barely saw this Tiger. The Tiger over here, on the flank, again. Once again, potentially on the hunt, and yes, there we go again. Third time's the charm. Not for the Volkskamjäger though. Once again, the Tiger takes it out. Sadly. But progress is being made. I have Echo under control. And Kite Cat is going to try and get that control back by getting some more units in. But they are far and few between. And I have an STRV-103C, which is eager for blood. Sadly, what I do not have is a lot of reconnaissance. So I'm definitely going to need more recon. And I need that Tiger to stop killing the recon. Now, because I wasn't operating at 100% brain capacity when I was playing this, I thought that a couple of Fennecs would be a fantastic way to kill a Tiger, completely omitting the fact that the Tiger has stingers. So this was a wonderful and particularly short-lived plan, because the Tiger did not care about that one bit. As I'm reinforcing here, there goes the Tiger. As I'm reinforcing here, I'm kind of surprised to see that a couple of Vabs are coming down. But what I do really appreciate about Kite Cat is that he constantly keeps trying. He keeps trying here, he keeps trying there, he keeps trying here. He's constantly probing, and that's something I still need to focus on. So I very much appreciated learning from him in that sense to see what I could be doing different. M41A1s holding the line, and the Chasseur currently engaging the Volkskamjäger, but very quickly getting ripped apart by the scout tanks. An MX-30B2 Brennus moves up. This is a unit that you can be getting in a motorized deck. And that further leads me to believe that it is a motorized deck that I'm facing. At this point, Kite Cat has captured Charlie. And I would very much like to not give him that much income. So I'm bringing in my own command unit. The Mirage 5F comes in. And this boy is going to drop on top of my building. Sadly, I had a couple of vehicles here, which were stacked with Gewehrmen. One of them gets destroyed, but the Gewehrmen survive, and the other Gewehrmen also survive. So I just lost a transport, but that is it. Putting the CV pretty far forward, relatively, and it's not on one of the edges to prevent from any sniping abilities. And I get the NASAMS, Mr. Malmstrom, further to defend any further air attack. Over here, the M41A1s are defending more towards the front. And we got Legionnaires over here. Now, not really what I was hoping to find. I was just probing the building, but Norlandsjäger are... they're not that stellar at defeating infantry that are well entrenched in a building. So I'm making use of the units that I still had, the Volkskermjäger. These are shock level trained troops, 15 of them per squad, so that's 30, which means they already outnumber them. And I'm bringing the M41A1s up as a fire support unit. Legionnaires are still here. They are engaging the wounded Gewehrmen, and I really want them out, so the STRV 103C, as well as further reinforcements, are able to deal with the Legionnaires. 103C here, getting attacked by the Tiger. These things were a constant menace. But, objective achieved, I finally will get control of this building. There goes the 103C, sadly. And the LVKV-90 is being brought forward to try and defeat that helicopter. But then I think it hovered low, so I couldn't spot it anymore. Now, the Brennus. It just patiently sits there. He seems to be just blocking off this exit / entry, depending on how you look at it. And I'm not sure if he has a lot. What I'm going to try and do is get the Volkskermjäger over with their Eric's launcher and basically 1 or 2 tap that Brennus. If they hit. Which takes them a little bit of time. Once again, a Mirage 5F comes in. This time around, however, Mr. Malmström was not available for comments, and the NASAMS does not take down that 5F. Now, he's capable of getting rid of both of my Laros and my Stormer, but not the Volkskermjäger. So I'm able to use those against the Brennus in case another one shows up. Over here, I had the Gewehrmen basically march to their death, temporarily giving me a line of sight on the Legionnaires, and getting the M41A1s more shots against the Legionnaires. At least that was the plan. But then sadly, they were on the wrong side of the building. Because the tanks are sitting over there, and the infantry was just on the edge of it there. Once again, the 5F comes in. It started feeling like it was a bit of a one-trick pony, just bombing everything. And sadly, he gets away with it, because he kills 4 of my tanks and panics 2 others. On the other hand, these are only 10 points apiece, so it's not that important. I wasn't that heartbroken when I lost them. But it did slow me down here, because I wanted to get this building. And having those 6 tanks there would have been very nice at suppressing the Legionnaires quickly, so the Volkskermjäger could push in. As it was going now, I only had 2, and the NM45s, which were barely accurate as they were moving. But combined, it's enough to get rid of the Legionnaires and allow my Volkskermjäger to get into the building. Of course, you can just about guess what's going to happen next. It might involve a certain aircraft. At this point, there are no fewer than 2 Tigers operating together on my left flank. The RBS-70 over here is trying to deal with both of them. So far, killing 1, thankfully, because these are expensive units and you don't get that many of them. Hitting another one before getting killed off. Still, this Tiger is probably going to be pulled back for repairs. Volkskermjäger were taking the building, did kill the VBAA, but taking serious losses there. So time to resupply them. And that is when I get a nasty surprise. I get a surprise visit from a couple of Puma 330H. And these are armed with autocannons. The NASAMS that I called in, well, it's having a particularly rough time, although it just got shielded by the building. But these guys are carrying infantry. Commando Marine at that. And there you go, they are able to kill off the NASAMS, and I have nothing defending this. That is bad news. So I get about 30 Commando Marines coming into my sector, and the Command Infantry has of course been detected as they take a couple of shots at the Commando Marine. I was not appreciative of this little visit. I spawn in some new units, I get the Stabsdeling back, so the Command Infantry has to get back as quickly as possible, and I start scrambling units to come back there as quickly as possible, because I need to keep this sector. Foxtrot is very important. It's my main supply line for the whole left flank, and if they're able to interrupt it, let alone fly in a command unit, I could have all sorts of problems. So while I have a triple stack of infantry coming in, at this point I'm also trying to deal with the helicopters. So I don't actively manage these. And at the same time, I have a bit of a problem. Because there is a quad stack of Leopard 1A5s rushing down the road. That is not what I need. At all. Thankfully, the Jäger with their Carl Gustav M3 take out one of the Leopards. The other Leopards respond in anger. But are having difficulty finding the Jäger again. And over here, as I was paying attention to the Leopard 1A5 incursion, I completely forgot about the Stormers. So the Commander Marines are able to take out a lot of them. Sadly. Because I was not really planning on getting these things killed off. Another Leopard takes a bit of a hit from one of my Leopards. The Jäger there, once again, readying the Carl Gustav. Another side shot on a Leopard there. Jäger might get one more shot, killing off one more Leopard. And the rest of the column just pushes right into the Commander Marine. At this point, I'm not even really concerned with what I have. I just push as much of the stuff in here as possible. In the meanwhile, Mr. Malmstrom is busy. And he takes down another air unit. Let's say, judging by the spread, it's probably not a napalm unit. And he accurately guesses where my CV is. Of course, at this point I should have moved it, because I had control over the whole sector. A Mirage 5F also pushes in, and since Malmstrom was out of missiles, he couldn't deal with that. So now I have no control over Delta, I have no control over Foxtrot, and I'm being attacked at my spawn again. This is the other Tiger that came all the way from that flank. The Tiger has found the command infantry, and it is the NM45 that immediately becomes elite as it takes down the Tiger. Not a moment too soon either, because if a missile had found the NM45, it would have been the end for that unit. The Tiger commander, captain, whatever you want to call it, the pilot, seems to try and still make an effort to kill my command infantry by landing on top of them, but misses. Still, he was probing everywhere. He was flying around here, attacking my main spawn. He was going for Foxtrot. He bombed my civilian Delta. I still got a couple of wounded leopards around. Well, leopards. Not necessarily lepers. I got a couple of wounded leopards moving around here, and I really don't want them to attack my NASAMs. So it's time to scramble the M41A1s. At this point, also bringing in a new CV. Now, these lepers, might as well continue calling them lepers. One of them gets taken out by the M41A1. The other one is somewhere in there. I haven't quite figured out where. So it's up to the STRV-103C and the 105A1NO to take it down. And they do, allowing back control of this sector. Over here, he starts bringing in a couple of Martyr 2s. Sorry, no, Martyr 1s, not 2s. Which quite swiftly get dealt with by an RBS-56. And the Panzer Grenadiers that come out are on the receiving end of just an M2 Browning, because beyond that, I don't have a lot of fire support here. I do have the mortars. They're going to be pretty useful. I got a new CV coming in, XA186NOKPV. So that's going to once again re-establish the supply line of Foxtrot. But this deck does not have a whole lot of command units in it. It has 7. I've already lost 1 here. I've lost 1 here. I am going to need more command units. It's going to be pretty tight. Especially considering that I'm on 30 points and he's on 99. So I immediately buy another CV, and this time I put it farther forward to prevent another one of those random bombing runs. I'm basically trying to consolidate the positions that I have. Trying to get my forces back to where they were supposed to be. Meaning that the CV is just standing here. It's not doing much of anything. It's not even in cover. The tanks over there should have been moved to the front line, but I was busy elsewhere apparently. I'm also trying to resupply my NASAMs here. Yep, that's Mr. Malmstrom. The aircraft's bane. And at that point, an M270 LRM decides to open up. Firing a missile spread at my base, where he knows the CV is, and I haven't moved it. I'm able to see it. I'm just unable to touch it yet. And he, once again, rushes forward with a column of FAB 2013s. They are getting shot at, however, by the 186 NOs, but I don't have an autocannon, I have a Browning. I also have Volkskamjäger as well as Stormers moving forward, but against this much firepower from autocannons, they don't last long. The CV survived. The NM45s are a bit concerned for their lives, but otherwise fine. And fortunately, I did not lose this CV, but it was touch and go there. So, Volkskamjäger against Chasseur. Not really going to go that well. I am trying to find his command unit with the TGB. And once again, he relies on a fleet of air power. Mirage 5F. That's a fight. No, that's not a fighter. That's an HGM plane. And over here we have the fighter, I think. He keeps relying on air power just to, I don't know, project strength to get rid of my Volkskamjäger. He really does not want me in here. Probably because he doesn't have that many forces. He does, however, kill my command unit. Over here. Probably still spotted by the Commander Marines. Of course, I should have cleared up that sector before sending another CV in. But the Commander Marines were, well, they were patiently waiting their turn. As I killed these, but not these. So they were able to spot the CV. And I wouldn't actually be surprised if this thing did a gun run at this point. Against the CV. Probably would have been a fair attack. Or it might have been that F4. That F4 HGM plane. At any rate, because of my sloppy nature, or my sloppy action, I was not able to save that CV, so I have to buy another one. And it's becoming expensive. I'm trying to get an XA-186NO to move forward, as well as slowly but steadily encroaching onto Bravo more and more. But I have 12 minutes and 39 seconds left, and he has 107 points, and I have 31. And here comes the rest of that column that we saw before. It's the VAP 2013s. Fortunately, I had a couple of Lara 106s standing by. Not really to deal with this side, but, well, they just happened to be there. And yet, they keep moving forward. So I need to get the welcome wagon ready. And I need to get this CV to not go where I told it to go, which is over there. Had it been going there, it would have been killed off by the VAP 2013s. I get the Fennec in to try and fire support for the Kustjäger against the Commander Marines. But the Fennec promptly takes a lot of fire from those autocannons. And yeah, I get another NM45 forward. Another triple stack of recoilless rifle jeeps. There are the transports. One of them is able to take out the NM45. Another triple stack of Panzerbills. Time to push back a little, and there you go. That's your column done. Of course, while I was looking over here, he was pushing on another flank. Like I said, he was everywhere. And I really admire that. It's a skill that I still need to master. The Brenners that seem to be defending the position of what could be the CV is moving towards the position of the Stormer. Now this thing has an autocannon, so I'm a bit hesitant with moving up. But a CV just randomly drives by the TGB-13. Okay, I can live with that. I'm working on the assumption that he didn't even know that I had the TGB there. Which works for me, but I now know that he has a CV somewhere on that edge. Once again, air power. And the Mirage takes some fire from the LVKV. The Brendryen was, I think, going for M41A1s. I'm not even sure at this point. And sadly, Mr. Malmström was out of missiles yet again. This unit has earned its price many times over, thanks to its ability to fling those AMRAAMs very quickly and accurately at those enemy aircraft. And there were there's no shortage of enemy aircraft in this match. Now, let's get the Scout Defender forward, see if I can find his CV. I'm also, much to my surprise, able to get a couple of Gewehrmen into Bravo. By basically walking them into Bravo. It was that easy. Of course, the Tiger is not really a fan of that, and neither is the defensive force over there. So the Gewehrmen are, well, they're a bit stuck. But at least now I know that he doesn't have that much. LVKV-90 taking a couple of shots at the helicopter there. And I might be able to take it out. especially if it drifts into the position of the Stormer. Sadly though, it can see them, because it's a recon helicopter, so he pulls it back. Over there we got another pirate, so there is likely another air attack happening. I have the NM45s here and there, but not that many of them. So I still need to bolster air defenses. I have my Lynx over there, trying to scout out his CV, but a Peace Rhine gets scrambled and takes down the Lynx. I kind of know where his CV is, but I still need more details. Scout Defender, that is your department. So the Scout Defender moves forward, and it shouldn't really have that much difficulty spotting the unit, because it is a command unit, it's not exactly a stealthy bugger, so we should be fine. I'll bring another NASAMS in, because he is so reliant upon air power, that if I can take that down, I might be able to just wipe out his forces altogether. A couple of M41A1s, once again saving my hide, as 2 VAP 2013s come down. The Scout Defender, this time also coming under attack with a Peace Rhine. I think, haven't spawned in a single aircraft the entire match. I was not using planes at all. But the Scout Defender has achieved the mission. I have found the target. There's the P4PC command unit. And despite being a bit shaken, the Scout Defender takes it out. So I'm finally at a +1. But we have 7 minutes to go, so I actually need a bit more than that. To that end, I'm preparing a push here. Laros, Panzer Bill, infantry, we're going to just rush Bravo and get that sector. Or at least get it neutral. Which would lead me to a +2. Here comes that Peace Rhine, sorry, not Peace Rhine, that pirate helicopter. And it is another NM45 that deals some damage to it and eventually will take it out. These little things, 15 points, nice unit. Very nice unit. They're very cost effective. Over here we have another CV, which has been detected by the Stormer. Sadly they can't kill it. Not quite. But if given another minute, they probably would have. I scramble an aircraft, a Fighting Falcon with a couple of 1,000 kilogram bombs, to drop on top of the last known location of the CV, but of course it's moving. So my chances of actually hitting it are slim. At this point I have smoked up the buildings here to prevent any kind of missiles coming at me from the buildings. I'm rushing the Brennus that he has over there, and keep in mind that the Brennus can use the F1 or the autocannon F1. Not both, not at the same time. It has to pick. And it is something that you have to micromanage. So if you don't turn off the main gun, it will not fire the autocannon. And the Panzer Bill, even though they do not have a lot of pen, at short range, they can still hit you. And they can still hurt you. And if not them, then definitely the Laros. So I'm moving forward, keeping the infantry packed up. There is another unit coming up. There's 30 Gewehrmen being dropped off. The chasseurs are the ones that are currently attacking me. I dash forward with the 186s, just trying to find the command vehicle. That was the objective. Find the command unit and kill it. I was not successful in the bombing run over there, and that means that I still have to find the other command unit. I need more points. Urgent. Mirage 5F once again comes in. I think, however, that it lost line of sight to the target, and because of that, it did not go through with the drop. So it's Mr. Malmström, in tandem with his colleague Grimsmo, another name says NASAMS operator, who takes down that plane. 186s and O's are dead, and there is the command infantry that I have been looking for. 30 Gewehrmen, currently in a bit of a skirmish with the Commander Marines. I move the Laros beyond the Commander Marines as much as possible and just have them take shots at the Führungsgruppe as long as possible. And then another group of infantry comes in. It's a bit of a mixed encounter here. The Panzer Bill is still able to shoot the Führungsgruppe. I have 30 Siegert coming forward. He still has Commander Marines, although they are dwindling in number. And there you go. The Panzer Bill has done it and has taken out the command unit. I'm at a +2 with 5 minutes to go. Fighting Falcon, I ordered it to drop, but it's now going to be doing a friendly fire drop, so I cancelled it. A couple of Leopards moving forward to make sure that anything and everything here dies. I am not interested in any stragglers like before. Sadly, The Brendryen is still very accurate and takes out one of my tanks. And the Leopard was a bit too aggressive in pushing in. Because it, well, it gets very, very close to the Chasseurs. They could have easily taken it out with a side shot. So I'm at a +2. 4 minutes, 19 seconds to go. If I can keep this up, I should win. Does Kite Cat have any more tricks up his sleeve? Well, he has more aircraft, that's for sure. It's just that my NASAMs are pretty much running out of missiles. I'm moving forward with the Scanias, the NM45s, the NASAMs. I'm trying to get as much of my anti-air firepower deployed into Bravo to make sure that whatever plane comes in immediately gets shot down. I'm also prepping an offensive here with a couple of M8 Panzerbill. I want to go into Golf and potentially into Charlie and get rid of that CV. And over here I got 2 Fighting Falcon. I'm once again going to try for the drop. I don't exactly know where it is, that CV of his. But I'm suspecting it's still somewhere in here, or he might have moved it to there. So that's where I drop. And I hit nothing. Well, I mean, something blows up, but it's just the explosive charge on the HE bomb. It doesn't actually do anything. He scrambles more aircraft to deal with my units. 2 Tiger Hads. That is pretty expensive. That's 200 points. Snabs, Hot 2s, and a G-30 autocannon. Beyond the NM45s and the NASAMs, I have very little air defense. And these guys are hovering too low for me with the NASAMs to be able to shoot them. I still have the LVKV-90 there, though. It is almost out of fuel, but it's still functional, which is more than the NM45 can say. A bit of overkill against the NM45, though, but they have done some damage, as one of these Tigers is at less than full health. And then the LVKV-90 can finish it off. That is one of the Tigers down, and the other one's being pulled back. Now, this fight took forever. The Gewehrman and the Chasseur, I'm not sure what it was that they were doing, but they took an awfully long time to finish each other off. There's the Tiger Hat, taking out another Leopard. And he, once again, takes control of Golf. He's going to have to take control... There you go, finally, another Brendryen dies. He's going to have to take control of another sector to stop my +1. I just don't know where he would do that. He does try to make a move with infantry into Delta, but he definitely wouldn't have found with the CV over there. Trying to get another scout defender to go for a CV hunt, because I have my aircraft. They're eager for blood. I just need to find a target. And there, the Block 15 served as a bit of bait for his fighter. And again, the NASAMs took it out. Sadly, a couple of VDAAs are over there, putting a couple of rounds through the wing of the Fighting Falcon, dealing serious damage. The other Fighting Falcon, I don't really know where to drop, so I just kind of guesstimate it, but once again fly over the anti-air position, which is now quiet, interestingly. No CV there. Panzerbills moving forward. Of course, the Brennus is not interested in that. Rima have been sent forward, but taken out by the Gewehrmen there that are reinforced with. 57 seconds. I'm at 174 versus 115. I would very much like to find another command unit. There is the VDAs. Kind of guesstimated the position with a cluster bomber. And though outlawed these weapons may be, the cluster bombs are sufficient to deal with a couple of lightly armored anti-air units. Still, he has a +1. With those anti-air units down, I can send in all my scout defenders to try and find him, but there's no need. In the last 20 seconds or so of the match, he surrenders. 3,575 points in kills, 2,750 points in losses. I won, but it was a very hard-fought fight. He was everywhere on the map. He played very, very well. I think he relied a bit too much on air power, though. My NASAMs, Mr. Malmstrom, did a ton of work. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 aircraft shot down. Let's say that an aircraft is on average maybe 90 points. These guys are 85 points. So this thing earned itself back a few times over. As for the NM45 that killed the CV, that was very valuable early on in the battle when he tried to do that flank attack. And overall, just a couple of, well, fairly even kills. Jäger 90, taking out the Brennes, taking out some transports. It's nothing too stellar, but it just added up enough. Although I think that most of those points were planes. He was just using a lot of them. Again, many thanks to Blitzwar for making the deck available to me. Linked down below in the description is the code, so you can use it for yourself. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what your thoughts are about the match and the deck down below in the description, or sorry, down below in the comment section. And I'll see you guys soon for more.